Hello, everyone. My name is Wendy Myers of wendymyersdetoxtoxins. Thank you so much for joining us for the Detox web class. I'm so excited. I'm here with Dr. Daniel Pompa, and we are going to be talking to you about the 3 things that you can do this New Year's for detox and why people fail in their New Year's resolutions. We're going to talk to you about weight loss, about optimizing your hormones for fat burning, and how to master your emotions and stress. I know a lot of you guys start the new year really excited and try a lot of different programs and things to lose weight or to feel better, to feel emotionally better. And a lot of people fail in their New Year's resolutions because they're not doing the right thing. So we're going to be talking about some solutions today that we are going to be doing at the end of this presentation.
Yeah.
Dr. Pompa, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your story and why you're so passionate about detox?
Well, you mentioned like why most people fail. I mean, not just in their New Year's resolutions, but all year. Toxins, more and more studies are showing that toxins really affect, and, we're both experts in this area and get that, but most people don't understand. It's not your fault, literally. Toxins affect hormones, they affect your cell, and therefore they affect your cravings, your inability or ability to lose weight, and it affects your emotions. I mean, literally, every reason why you beat yourself up at the beginning of the year going, gosh, why can't I stay? I'm telling you, this is the answer. I mean, so, it excites us because we know that, but, we're going to teach them that. And, even in this episode right here, or whatever we're calling this, I want people to understand that, and I want you to join us, obviously, with something we're going to do, and we're going to do it with a large group of people, and you have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, for myself, my own personal experience, I had reached a point where I was 37 years old. I was having trouble losing weight. I had the hormone levels of a menopausal woman. I just couldn't seem to master my cravings. I didn't feel good emotionally, and it was only when I did my own heavy metal detoxification program that over time I was able to finally conquer those issues. It really, for me, was the key when nothing else had worked, because it's not about willpower. Biology always overcomes willpower.
Always.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about how heavy metals help or cause resistant weight loss. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, you did ask me like kind of how I got into this. I never intended to be an expert in weight loss, although that's kind of, I get these big speaking gigs about this, but I got very sick, and it ended up to be heavy metal toxicity, right? We kind of, you and I have that in common. It was funny because going through it, I became what I call skinny fat, meaning I was losing muscle and I gained fat around my waist. But that was such a small potato in it. I got so sick. I mean, I had no energy, couldn't sleep, anxiety. I was allergic to every food, chemicals. Life as I know it ended. So, but in that came a purpose. I learned, number one, detox has to be at the cellular level. And that's where real detox is. Y'all are going to learn that when you join this, because that's really the key. So to answer your question, how do toxins like heavy metals and others affect weight loss and hormones? And let's start here, because I think that when we look at why people fail, and I said it's not your fault, it really is true. So you have to understand, folks, your cells can use 2 things for energy: sugar or fat. Will have the hormonal ability to use sugar or fat, back and forth. So when you're not eating, as an example, your body will burn fat. And when your body's burning fat, you lose your appetite. I mean, you're okay, right? But when your body doesn't have the hormonal ability at the cellular level, and we'll talk more about that, to burn fat, now your body, it's looking for sugar. It's only going to get it in 2 places. It's either going to give you a craving you can't resist because it needs to survive. So it says, eat the bread, eat the sugar, whatever it is. So you get a craving because your body doesn't have the hormonal ability to burn fat, only sugar, and it wants to survive. Your brain needs glucose. So it will give you a craving you cannot resist. I'm telling you, that's why it's not your fault. Okay. Or here's the other one. This is why I got skinny fat. Maybe you're super disciplined, right? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give in. Well, guess what? Your body can only use sugar as a main source, muscle down. And it gets sugar that way. It's a process called gluconeogenesis, and it's happy. And you're going, hey, I don't get cravings, but I can't lose weight. Well, it's because your body's, catabolizing its muscle down into sugar and feeding the sugar to the cell. And now your metabolism gets lower and lower and you can't lose weight. So, I mean, this is a no-win situation. So then I think the question is, okay, how do we get our cells to become these efficient fat burners so I don't have cravings I can't resist? I won't burn my muscle and lose my metabolism. And that's what we're talking about, because when we look at the studies, when toxins come in around the cell, they attach into that membrane. And here's what our viewers and listeners have to understand. The receptors, if this isn't the cell, and I'll just make my fingers these receptors, to all your hormones are on the cell. So if this is a hormone, it has to come in and attach to those receptors. And when it does that, then it gets the message into the cell. But here's the problem. Toxins come in, they blunt those receptors because they drive something called inflammation. Everyone's heard of that. And now the hormones can't get their message in the cell. So if we look at thyroid hormone as an example, you can take all the thyroid you want. It'll make your blood work look better. But the problem is it's still not going to get its message in the cell. And now you're not a fat burner, an efficient fat burner. I can use leptin as another hormone. I can use estrogen. I mean, any hormone, when toxins inflame that cell, and those hormones can't get their message in. Taking more hormones doesn't work. It doesn't. It makes blood work look better, but you're going, I'm not losing weight. I still don't even feel better, for that matter. I have energy. I still have brain fog. So you're going to learn all this. I mean, obviously I don't expect you to get all that now, but I'm telling you, this is why people fail, Wendy. It's not just like you're weak. It's not. It really isn't.
Yeah, and I had experience myself. I know there's a lot of people listening that are taking thyroid hormones and they have low thyroid hormones. And I had reached a point where I doubled my thyroid hormone just to see what would happen and to try to increase my metabolism. And it's just not, it doesn't work. You just end up getting anxiety and heart palpitations and things like that, because it's just a lot of toxins will block those hormones getting into your cells.
Yeah.
And another thing for me is I was very, very arsenic toxic. And arsenic actually poisons enzymes that transport triglycerides and fats out of your cells. So that fat can just be locked in there and stuck if you have certain toxins that prevent its release.
Yeah. I mean, look, we're going to discuss diet. We're going to discuss your emotional stuff. I'm fascinated by it, and you can't, whether it's physical, chemical, or emotional, it all has to be at the cell. That's the key. Real detox, it's become my message, has to be at the cell. I think that, people are doing a lot of detoxes that are really sometimes good. I mean, there's colon cleanses, there's, this cleanse, that cleanse, liver cleanses, and all of them, are effective to a point. However, this problem that we are talking about, cravings, weight loss resistance, you have to get to the cell. And that's really how you get well, and that's how you break through this weight loss resistance. So, look, we're going to be doing it with you all, and we're going to talk about, I'm sure, exercises that we love. We're going to give you the tips in detox, even how this process works. But, you get access to a portal that I've created over the years, and it educates you through this process. In even the cost of the program, you get all of the supplements, everything you need for the process, plus access to this portal, which you're going to love. There's so much information. You said it right before we got on the call. So, we couldn't have made it, more affordable. And we did this last year with another good friend of ours. And I'm telling you, it was huge, the success. So I love it because I know this is why people fail. I love it. I do it myself every year because even, me or you, I'm telling you, it takes me to the next level. So it makes me do another detox. So I love it.
Yeah. So what we're doing together, we're going to be doing a 90-day True Cellular Detox. And Dr. Pompa and I are going to be doing a series of webinars, helping you through this process, answering all of your questions. I'm going to be doing it with you guys. We're starting on January 15th. And I'm really, really excited because I have been wanting to try your program, Dr. Pompa. I have my program I've been doing for years and developed over years. But you know, it's different things work for different people, and I think it's good to try different things and find out what works for you. And your program has been developed with over a decade with thousands of people. It's such a tried and true method, and you have developed a very comprehensive course. And I'm really, really impressed by it. I've been poking around in there, doing some of the preliminary, modules, and really, really impressed with the depth and breadth of content in there. I think it's just a wonderful educational tool that you've provided for people to try to, address a lot of the symptoms and issues they're having that they haven't been able to address with conventional or even functional medical methods.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is. It takes people through, like, look, these three things need to be done with real detox. I mean, there's three phases that we're going to be going through with you, right? There's a prep phase, a body phase, and a brain phase. You know, we didn't even talk about this. You know, when I was very sick, I was downstream, like so many, of the viewers, I'm sure. I couldn't adapt even to normal stress, let alone anything extraordinary. I was downstream dealing with my thyroid issues. I mean, my hair was thinning, my skin was dry. It was very, very frustrating. And certain things would get better, but I wasn't getting better. And certain things would even get worse. I knew the problem was in my pituitary hypothalamus, which controls your thyroid and your adrenals. And lo and behold, I mean, studies show that's where metals, heavy metals like mercury, bioaccumulate. I mean, even things like biotoxins affect the receptors in the hypothalamus pituitary. And again, it's another reason why so many of you, what you're doing, still aren't feeling well. I mean, it is in the brain. So the brain phase is how I got my life back, and literally thousands of others now. And you're going to learn that. This is what we're going to do together. But the brain phase is, I'm telling you, it's magic. I mean, this is where so many of the problems are. Things are crossing the blood-brain barrier. And, glyphosate, and we'll talk more about this, but it's a chemical we're all being exposed to on our food. It opens up that blood-brain barrier. It's allowing toxins to cross in. This is a new problem. It's allowing across our gut barrier and drive autoimmune, and we're driving our own inflammation. But I mean, all of these things you have to understand. You have to realize there's an answer, obviously, but we're all being affected by it. So this detox is way more important than ever as far as fixing hormones, balancing hormones, weight loss resistance, normal energy, no brain fog, sleeping normal, all of it. It's a cellular issue and it's a toxic issue.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the benefits that people will experience when they go through a detox program like this. You talked about the brain phase of the program. Talk to us about brain fog. I know a lot of us are experiencing brain fog and feel like, oh, maybe we're just getting older, or just forgetting our keys, or whatever the problem is, or you can't remember a book that you read, or whatever the issue is. Talk to me about brain fog and how toxins impact and affect our brain and our memory and our thinking.
Yeah, to solve any problem, you have to look what's causing it and where the problem is. It's a mitochondrial issue, and I may have lost some people right there, but that's what's in all of our cells, where we make energy. And you'd say, well, how does my energy and my cells affect my brain, how I think, my memory, clarity? Well, it does, because the mitochondria is where, again, that's where you either use sugar or fat as energy. So when they look at what's happening, your brain is literally starving of glucose. And so what's happening is we're starving of literally energy, these ATPs that we need for our brain to go, oh, that's awesome. I feel so good. The glucose, we're calling a lot of this diabetes of the brain, where we're burning out receptors in our brain to insulin. We can't even get enough glucose in our brain to function. So we have this drop in brain energy caused by the same thing of why we're not feeling well here. So when you look at why the mitochondria in so many people aren't functioning correctly when we have a lack of energy, it's toxins. The mitochondria, by this membrane that makes it work, and I'll go as deep as that, it's very, very vulnerable to toxins, especially certain types of toxins. We're going to teach you about this and how to avoid these types of toxins. But when you affect that mitochondria, the toxins have such a negative role, and now you don't make the energy. Now your brain can't use energy. I mean, so the toxins are affecting the hormone receptors, the insulin receptors, and the mitochondrial function. One of the first symptoms is brain fog, and then other things follow. You got to get to the problem. That's the problem.
And let's talk about stress and emotions. So I think a big problem today is people are losing their ability to manage stress for a number of reasons. I think toxins are a big underlying root cause of that. And people are, experiencing a lot of anxiety and depression and don't really understand why. They're losing their ability to manage these things. What is going on with that? And how does detox help one to transform their emotional life and their stress management?
I had said, my adrenals were just shot. I mean, they're the downstream whipping boy of, everything. But most of us think that's the answer. Like, just get my adrenals up. It really is rarely ever the answer, because, like I said, it's downstream. Your pituitary controls it. Your adrenals are responding to a body that's in a stress situation. When we look at what's happening at the cell, we realize that your body's adapting with cortisol and adrenaline. It's in a fight or flight mode. Well, I mean, when you're in that cortisol state, number one, you're in a fat storing state. Number two, your insulin's going up, so that makes your fat, makes you store fat. You're releasing adrenaline. Oh, now you don't sleep well. Now you're not in delta sleep, where your brain needs to detox, and you're not, burning fat at night. I mean, everything hormonally starts going right down to the can, But again, rarely do people get upstream to the big problem. Stress is stress. You mentioned, emotional stress. Now you're not adapting to even normal emotional stress, and it starts piling on, right? So now your kids are, I'll say your kids are malfunctioning. That's what I almost said. My kids are malfunctioning a lot, but your kids are not behaving, or whatever it is. I don't know what brings on most of your stress, but now all of a sudden, if your body's functioning right, you tell the kids, and your body hormonally is responding normal. However, when you're not, now that stress, you don't adapt, and you're carrying cortisol and adrenaline beyond that stress. It's out of your mind, and you're still carrying it into the next stressor. And now you have the next stressor because your husband or wife says something, and then you're carrying that. I mean, literally, now you are non-adaptive, and now I don't care what you do. Now you're heading for the hormonal drop. I mean, Wendy, I think a lot of what you're going to bring, really is, you put that together with this chemical, detox, True Cellular Detox, which, we're bringing. I'm telling you that we have an answer. That's kind of why we came together on this.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, detoxification, I really feel, is that missing component in a lot of people's health regimes. I think there's a lot of people listening very concerned about their health. They're eating really, really well. They're taking really high quality supplements. They're trying to exercise. They're doing everything right, and they still feel like crap. And that's exactly where I was many, many years ago, trying to figure out what exactly is it that I have to do to feel better.
Yeah.
And for me, it was when I began on my detoxification journey, when I finally, the light bulb went off. I did some research on the internet. I was actually searching for how to improve my hormones naturally, because my doctor wanted to put me on hormone replacement therapy, thyroid hormones, and I kind of just, that's not how I envisioned my life at 37, to be on hormone replacement therapy, because I had the hormone levels of a menopausal woman, and I had a very stress-free life, very stress-free, and I was doing everything right, and I just didn't feel good. I couldn't lose weight. I was emotionally unhappy when there was no reason for that at all. I had every reason to be happy in my life. And so detoxification was that key, that missing component in my health regime that turned things around. And that's why Dr. Pompa and I have teamed together to help educate you about the power of detoxification and how it's going to solve a lot of the issues that you're having. You just can't seem to kick or to solve. And I think a lot of women end up blaming themselves because for whatever reason, they can't lose weight, or they blame themselves that they're not, exercising enough. yeah, they're trying to eat less and they can't. They just crave. They cave to
Yeah.
the cravings and whatnot, and it's not your fault.
I want to talk about, I'm going to share, we're both going to be sharing some of our, things that, man, it just works. It sure worked in my life being 52, and, I'm leaner now and in better shape than ever, honestly, in my life. And it's possible for all of you. I'm going to definitely share all these things with you. But, one of the big mistakes that people make, they start restricting calories, right? And in the short term, it works, right? You can lose that 10 pounds, and probably most of you have, right? It's like you ate half of your plate, push the next meal away. But when we look at ancient cultures, and that's one of my favorite things to do, we realize, yes, they eat less and they live longer. The studies are there. However, they don't eat less by eating half their plate, eating less calories. They eat less by eating less often. We're going to talk about that because that's a whole nother concept. I'm going to talk about even fasting and how to incorporate that into this. It's, one of my areas of expertise. I was just interviewed in a documentary about it. I love it. I've studied fasting for many, many, many years. And when done correctly, it's a tool that will transform many of your lives. And I'll share my knowledge with you during that. And, there's so much here. We're going to talk about different dietary strategies, but it's fun. Join us. I hope you do. I know, to put it this way, I know you'll be telling all of your friends and family about it because we have raving reviews about this.
Yeah, and so we're going to be doing a 90-day lead detox. Dr. Pompa and I are going to be doing a number of webinars with you guys to help you along the way on this detox journey. I'm going to be doing it with you guys. It starts January 15th, and you can go to detoxwithwendy.com to learn more about it and sign up. And why don't we talk a little bit about what they can expect to see in their portal once they sign up? There's all kinds of information and resources and tools for people to really address every aspect of their life, not just detoxification, but so many different aspects we're going to help you with. And why don't you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, obviously it's going to take you through what true cellular detox is, how to do it. Question and answers, dietary, guidelines, and there's even an advanced section where we talk about ketosis and why ketosis might be for some of you. But I'm going to be discussing on the calls just some of my strategy, what I call diet variation, how to actually move in and out of diets, where one diet is not the key, right? So, I'm not like the guy who says, oh, you need the paleo diet, vegetarian diet, ketosis diet. There's actually magic in moving in and out of different diets, especially when it comes to breaking through the next plateau. So it's like you still have that next 15, you can't lose it. I'm telling you, this diet variation strategy, and we do it weekly, monthly, and seasonally. I'm going to teach you that. That's extra. But in the portal, there's, how to get into ketosis. It's there, right? Even the, exercises, that we do for cellular detox, it's all in the portal that you have access to. And it's so, I'm telling you, there's a lot there. I have 1,000 articles that I've written, and, you have access to that. And I talk about diabetes and thyroid conditions. It's in the portal, but yeah. So, I know you'll be impressed with what you get. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I love that you have an entire module on emotions and how metals and toxins can impact that and be improved with detoxification. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, thought is everything, right? And, when I had gotten sick, what unfortunately had happened, I got the toxins out of my brain. And, man, my energy was better, slept normal again. My digestion was normal. However, I was still chemically sensitive. I would go into a room with air freshener and all of a sudden I'd be brain dead, and, or the gal with, or the guy with cologne on, even worse. And all of a sudden I'd be irritable brain. I'd get symptoms. That was neurologically wired in, this response. Trust me, this after people are toxic, we wire in bad responses. We wire in a cortisol reaction, after any type of stressor, physical or emotional, and we get exposed to that chemical or emotional stress, and we will go right into that same wiring. Negative for our health, destroys us. So although the toxins are gone, that emotional pattern is there. I'll give you an example. Okay, so a lion walks in the room. Every one of us, I think, would have a certain response, because see, there's a memory that we have in part of our brain. Bad, lion could kill me. So therefore, the emotion tied to the lion, or in this case, the chemical, or the husband, whatever it is, there's a memory there, right, for a certain thing. And then from that, there's a chemical release, cortisol, adrenaline, the hypothalamus sends to the pituitary, that sends it to your thyroid, your adrenals. So you're getting the same reaction that you shouldn't get. So you're saying, well, wait a minute, why am I still feeling the way I feel? It's thought. It's thought. So I had to change the way I thought about certain stressors, even chemicals. And I talk about that in the portal, how I changed that thought to change the physiological reaction, the adrenaline, the cortisol, because that's still running. It's called neuroplasty. How do you break that? I think we're both going to share some insight there.
Yeah, and I had a point in my life where I felt angry and I felt about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was depressed. I was just kind of like mildly depressed, and I would just really be my anger would be ticked off really easily. And
yeah, that was me.
I looked in the mirror one day and I just didn't recognize myself, because I used to be very calm, very collected. I very rarely got angry. But what people don't realize is when our livers are dealing with so many toxins, there's between 80 and 100,000 toxins in the environment, dozens of heavy metals, and your liver has to break all that down and deal with it. And your liver is the seat of anger. And when your liver doesn't have the support that it needs, because it's just our diets are atrocious, we're eating lots of sugars and grains, and or we don't give our liver any kind of support nutritionally with supplements or other means, it's not surprising that a lot of people today are angry or depressed or have anxiety. And detoxification plays a huge role in releasing that anger and just really helping you come full circle back to the emotions or the person that you used to know.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt. Well, you can see, folks, you're going to learn a lot. And like I said, I mean, there's obviously you're going to have all the supplements for the prep, body, brain, all the way through the access to the portal and access to us. So it's awesome. Hope you join us.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I know a lot of people try different modalities. They try different weight loss programs and they try all different kinds of things that come January 1, and they get super, super excited and they join a gym and you see at the gym, there's 1 million people in the gym. They're really, really packed. And then come January 30th, gym's not so full anymore. And I think a lot of people start with really good intentions. They get really excited and motivated January 1st, and then they fail. They aren't able to live up to their New Year's resolutions. And with this program, I know that people are going to be having the success that they seek. And that's really, really important to me, to provide people with the tools that actually work, that are actually going to address the underlying root causes of their health issues and help them meet their health goals. And I'm really privileged and honored to partner with you, Dr. Pompa, in offering this program, because I know you guys, your team, have done excellent work in creating this program. And it's such a tremendous value as well, because just the supplements alone that people get in the program, that covers the cost alone. If you bought those in a store, just the supplements alone would justify the program. So I think it's just with what you get. I was in the portal last night and looking around. I was blown away by how many tools and resources and how comprehensive the program is, and I'm very, very impressed.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fun, and they will be very impressed as well. But more importantly, they're going to get results.
Yeah, so go to detoxwithwendy.com. That's where you can learn more about the program, get your questions asked. You can click on support and ask any questions that you have. And you guys really provide a lot of support during this program. Mm-hmm. And like I mentioned, we're going to be doing a webinar every month and talking to you guys, educating you guys along the way during this 90-day protocol. So I really hope that you guys join us. I'm doing it too. So it's starting January 15th. And it's for me, you know, I'm going to get, you know, kickstart my detox for the year 2018 as well. And I know it's going to be a fantastic year for you guys. And we want to get you started on the right foot to detoxing the right way. So I really hope you join us at detoxwithwendy.com.